as his memories, I'm always keep his name alive, because that's my son, and I feel as though he should have been burying me and not me burying him. But it's more a lesson to the youth of tomorrow ain't promised. So you gotta understand that dumb shit you out here doing and you intertwining with, you could lose your life at any moment. And losing your life don't only affect you. It affect your parents. It affect if you got a child. It affect all the people that really love you and care about you, because a lot of times these youth, these youngers, they don't respect life because they ain't got a chance to live life yet. You know what I mean? I'm not never gonna sugarcoat shit. I was struggling with my son, trying to get him to out the streets. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna sugarcoat none of that shit. We didn't even have the best relationship when he passed because he wanted to be a street, and I didn't believe in that shit. I didn't subscribe to that shit. So my message is for the youth is that go ahead and do something that's beneficial to you, man. The streets ain't beneficial to you. The streets don't love nobody. If you could show me the drug dealer with the big house on the hill, I congratulate you. If you could show me 10 successful drug dealers, you could tell me 10 street, I'm gonna show you 9 that's gonna tell. So all of this shit is a myth. That's what I want them to know. And it ain't even about cheese no more, it's about saving some other lives that think this shit is more than what it is. I can't do nothing for cheese. Cheese is gone. So all I can do is the things that I believe in Islamically, buying a wishing well over here, getting a well over here, doing something for somebody that's less fortunate, because I believe that helps my son and Jenna. But other than that, it ain't about cheese no more. Cheese ain't here. It's about me saving somebody else's life and letting them know that you can die out here. Somebody will blow your brains out playing out here and thinking this shit is not serious when it is. So what do you want to do? Do you want to live life? You want to be here for your parents, or you want to subscribe to this fake ass street shit and get the melon knocked out, get the seeds knocked out your watermelon? Because that's all that's going to happen. Because it ain't no successful drug dealers out here. There's not no successful criminals out here. No, they die and they go to jail. So if you want to be in jail for the rest of your life, that's cool. If you want to get the seeds knocked out your melon, that's cool. But I'm here to tell you that's what's going to happen. It ain't even about cheese no more.
I had a conversation with Wallow, and Wallow was the one that broke the news to you that your son had passed. You remember that conversation?
Yeah, no, it wasn't even a conversation. We was in a hospital, and Wallow broke down and walked out of the hospital.
Did you know something then?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. I knew something.
So you said, well, okay, Wallow, what's up?
I already knew. So when I followed him out, I already knew what it was. Because I already knew who it was coming from. It was coming from Skip. Skip is a police officer in the Philadelphia Police Department. So I already knew what it was coming from.
So he didn't even find out directly himself that his son was gone. For those that don't know, this is Gillie the Kid. And he has a very, very popular podcast now. But he came up in the streets as a recording artist. He was heavy and big in the underground scene of hip-hop. And that's really where he made his name. Now, the reason that I found this so interesting, him speaking about his son and speaking the way he is because you rarely see a lot of the rappers come back. You rarely see rappers come back and tell us how it really is for real. You rarely see them take the gloves off and say, hey, you know all that bullshit that, y'all saw that we came up in? Y'all know all this bullshit that Y'all see going around that this huge industry has streamlined, and how all of this gangster rap bullshit, y'all know all of this shit is really not worth none of this shit that we thought it was. Y'all know the facade that it is. I found this so interesting, and that I'm grateful that he was willing to share. Listen, I told y'all, for those that don't know, if you're new here, I grew up in one of the worst neighborhoods in the city of Detroit. It was the Brewster Projects. It was not a nice place. It was not a place that you would want. It was not a place that you would choose to grow up. Okay? I have seen literal wars break out over there. Gunshots galore. Listen, hearing gunshots over there, over in the Brewster Projects on a Wednesday was just another day for me. It was just another day for me and my moms. Just another day. I seen a man get blown right off of his motorcycle. I'll never forget, because me and my niece were outside at the time. We were outside. Motorcycle comes. If you've ever been, or if you've ever known or been a part of the projects, or if you've never ever grew up or even visited the projects, then you would know that the projects, the way that they were built and constructed, they did not have through streets. Meaning that once you came into the projects, you came in one way and you would have to circle around and go out the other way. Either that, or you would have to literally turn around, but there was no through traffic. So if you were coming into the projects, you were coming into the projects for a reason. But you damn sure wasn't coming through one side and then going out the other side. Nope, didn't work that way. It was built like an extremely violent cul-de-sac. So this motorcycle comes around the corner. Me and my niece are outside, broad daylight. Broad daylight, y'all. And as he's circling around the corner, not 15 feet away from us, we hear pop, 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 pop. I look over. I see a dude in a hoodie, some jeans. Took his head clean off his shoulders. Left the body laying there. Me and my niece, of course, we go scrambling. We go running into the house. My mother's already meeting us in the kitchen. Off the porch. Y'all get in here and get down. I remember like it was yesterday. Did you all know that when there's violent scenes, and unless there is something really, really, really graphic and really bad that happened, typically there is not a team that comes behind and cleans up the scene. That typically doesn't happen. So I say that to say that the EMS showed up, the police showed up, and after they removed that young man's body who was killed right there on his motorcycle, after they removed his body from the scene, his blood that was pouring out of his fucking head was still there for days and days and days until the rain eventually washed it away. So every day I went outside, I could still see the spot, the exact spot of where he died on the curb. And I never ever thought to myself, you know what? I would love to grow up and become a part of this. I would love to grow up and do this. I would love to grow up and have to worry about somebody blowing my fucking brains out off of a motorcycle in broad daylight. These young people are totally soulless. They don't care. They have, in their minds, they have nothing to live for. At age 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, they already have it in their mind. Fuck it. I got nothing to live for. I'm willing to die for all of this. And that's insanity to me, because all I ever wanted was to get the fuck up out of the hood and never come back. Never come. You couldn't pay me to go back. If somebody asked me, would you change it? Would you change your childhood? Would you change the way you grew up? Absolutely I would. Absolutely I would. Some people would say, "Oh, it built character. It gave you the." I don't give a fuck about that. My character could have been built in another way. You can't tell me there's not healthier ways to build your character than in the fucking hood where gang violence is happening every day. I'll take my chances on the other side.
How did your son get involved? How did Cheese get involved in that life? Because at this point in time, Gillie, you made a name for yourself. You got bread.
Well, you gotta understand. And I can only tell the truth. Being a follower. Plain and simple. Being a follower. Wanting to subscribe to some shit that's not really you. And that's most of the kids out here. Most of the kids in the suburbs subscribe to shit that is not even really them. And then they gotta prove themselves. Well, I don't believe you. You grew up in the suburbs. I don't believe you tough. So what you gonna do? You gonna prove yourself?
Yep.
And then a lot of them end up trying to prove themselves. And a lot of them end up in a sad situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, now I can't say that my son was just a totally suburban. He hung out in North Philly. He hung out in the ghettos. He had family down there. So, but what he was trying to be wasn't him.
He chose a life that he didn't have to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You, on the other hand, you grew up in that. That's all you knew. That was around.
Absolutely.
Your mom had you out in the burbs. Like you said, when you went to college, it exposed you to something else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know, a lot of times the kids in the ghetto, they subscribe to something because of an image. They don't want to be looked at as pussy. The kids, oh, he turkey. Oh, they don't want to be looked at as a certain way. So that'll drive a that's not even into that life to do some shit that he had no business doing because he don't want to be perceived as a certain way.
I'm sorry that you had to hear the comments about the Illuminati because you got money now. And normally when black people get money, you had to do the Illuminati. You had to sell your soul. So you had to sacrifice your son in order to stay in good graces and keep this paper coming.
Now that we know one of the kids that was responsible for murdering my son, right? So I guess the Illuminati came to a 16-year-old kid that's in high school and said, yeah, we need you to kill Gillie's son for Illuminati. Now that we know one of the kids that was responsible, so, you know, they all on Instagram and they talk, and then, you know, apparently this kid name was the Joker, and, you know, that's what he did, so, you know. But he had to deal with God, you know, that's how I look at it.
And then Charleston White said something disrespectful and derogatory towards your son, but he later apologized. Did you accept his apology? Did you talk to Charleston?
No, but you know, you can't, I can't respect niggas like that because what I know you for. When I ask you, what do you know him for? Think about it. You don't even know. You know him for disrespecting niggas that's known.
Right.
Think about that. You ain't putting the work in out here. You ain't did nothing. You got on the internet at 40-something years old, a nigga that had nothing going on and disrespected niggas that put work in.
Yeah. This entire interview was very interesting to watch. I encourage anybody to, and it wasn't this heavy throughout the entire interview. I did select this particular part of the interview to showcase because I wanted to highlight the stupidity that rap culture and being tough in the streets, the path that it leads our young children down, because you feel like you got to prove yourself to people that wouldn't spit on you if you was on fire. Niggas that say they love you, and then as soon as you get into a jam, they gone, they ghost. Look, man, I could go on and on and on and on and on about this, but we're not gonna do it. I think we get the point, right? I think we get the point. Drop a comment down below if you feel so inclined. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one, y'all. Later.